Sorry, everyone. I don't know what's going on with it. It's YouTube or like Verizon's having issues with connecting, but it just keeps on saying connecting, and as if like I have 5G here. I don't know what's going on. I should be fine. It's still frozen? Really? That's just sad. Let me see what I can do here. It's really still. Is it still frozen, guys? If you can comment, let me know. Is it frozen? Anyone else? Can they let me know that? Just let me know and I'll try and restart it one more time. Nothing? I'm gonna try one more time. Oh, okay. Alright. I don't know if people are gonna still be watching because I think it might still be going from. Gotta get over it. This is probably one of the nicest. In doubt, just speed up. It's almost as if no one else knows that it's working. Yeah, go for it, Big G. That's what I'm here for, is following questions. Are they wind tolerant? Yes, they are. They are quite wind tolerant. They do pretty well in hurricanes because even though they have a lot of leaf matter and they're clumping, their leaflets are pretty. I mean, they bend quite a bit, and they're tough. I don't really talk a lot about them, but they are very tolerant. They do well in hurricanes. Full sun in the desert? I don't know about that. I mean, you would need to have an awful lot of irrigation. What kind of desert are we? I am moving. Thank God. I don't know what's been going on with the internet, but it'll randomly just close out. Local pizza. Oh, that's it. Thought it said something else. Palm Springs. They can tolerate drought. They're not going to look nearly as good now. Palm Springs is one of those areas where you might be able to get away with it because the heat will provide some growth, but you're going to have to irrigate them. I haven't seen them in person, but yes, I've seen pictures of them. They've almost gone wild in that area. It's very similar to their natural habitat, kind of a forested, temperate woodland. Yeah, go for it. I think that in the because if you were in a cooler desert, if you were like in the in like Lancaster, Palmdale area, I know the area gets a lot colder than Palm Springs does. I wouldn't recommend trying it anywhere north of LA. There's a chance that they would grow in San Bernardino, but I think it just gets too cold there. Again, I can't even. Yeah, but the part in Switzerland kind of makes sense. It's with it being near a lake there, and you're shielded from the Alps because you're on the south end of the mountain. So it actually gets fairly warm. I think that area has a climate similar to like Richmond, Virginia. Maybe a little bit cooler, maybe something like DC. Because DC is borderline subtropical temperate. Like western suburbs, like Frederick is considered closer to the temperate side. it's weird how the subtropical humid zones are, like it kind of cuts through like the Kansas City, St. Louis area, then Louisville, Cincinnati area. Oh, it wasn't Zurich? That's a little bit different. That's northern Switzerland. I mean, they're cold tolerant. I don't know how about that cold tolerant. I mean, Zurich is there along the Rhone River? The Rhine? Is it the Rhine? No, it's the Rhine. So I know it's a little bit warmer there than it is in like, you know, other areas. Maybe it's downtown and that'll add a few degrees, but I had to look at the climate of Zurich. I know that Geneva would actually make more sense, in my opinion. It's on a lake. I think Dipsas lutescens is growing in drier conditions. I don't know about a desert. I would say semi-arid. Right, you can do. Yeah, and you never know. The Swiss are really good at like making things perfect. So they might have a way of like heating them up if it gets really cold. Just like there's palmettos in Virginia Beach. I don't think they're long term there. I mean, they might be like medium term. I remember seeing them when I was a teenager in like the mid to late 90s. And I thought it was so cool. But then I go there in the wintertime and they were all wrapped up. That's one of the first times I ever saw like cold cold protection. I'm trying to think of the right word. I used to wrap up palms. Now you just let them ride. It's just not in the long term for me because there's so many palms I can grow here. There has to be a very specific palm for me to try and wrap it up. If I got like some of my dream plants, I would wrap them up. But like I'm not going to try and wrap up a pig of feta and then one day it just drops, you know, to 30 in Venice, freezes it solid because they're just basically big. Pig of feta is just this almost like a banana in the way that it grows. It's so fast. It's all water, so it freezes. The thing freezes solid, dies. And they're already very temperamental. They need a ton of water so they can dry out. You know, 48 hours of being totally dry is like a death knell for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the house, drop off my food that I need. Well, yeah, I have 2 bags of food here, so I'm going to take that long. But I might have to go to Publix to get cream of asparagus soup. But I'm going to go order some. I'm getting this Chinese dish. Most of you, I don't know if you guys are familiar with cold sesame noodles, but they're very good. They're like peanut butter and soy sauce noodles. I'm not getting like, you know, your classic Chinese food. I do want to live past 45. TL, how cold are you supposed to get up there? Sorry about all the stream difficulty. I hate it because in the end, you know, usually we have like 10 or 12 people on the stream right now, but now we have 4 because the first time I really see palms on I-95 is the northernmost place I've seen a palm on I-95 is in Selma, North Carolina. I remember going to a tobacco outlet with some member of my family, and there's a butea actually of all growing on the west side of I-95. So when I was heading north, it was on the left-hand side. 36, wow. It's supposed to be 41 here in Venice. And it's windy, so like, yeah, there are definitely some palms in southern North Carolina along I-95. I would say the cutoff for like palmetto is going to be somewhere near Fayetteville, maybe even further south like Lumberton, and buteas, again, like I said, somewhere south of Raleigh or southeast of Raleigh because I-95 doesn't go through Raleigh. But Rocky Mount is probably where you're not going to see anything else. Like you might see some yuccas and stuff like that, but no palms. It's funny. One of my closest friends in the plant community. I don't want to say who he is or where he's from or what he grows, but he's originally from the Rocky Mountain area. He would tell me a lot of stories. And because I grew up in Richmond, it was only 2 hours apart, really. I mean, I guess he's 65 now, so I've known him since he was somewhere around. So, Dipsas lutescens is actually relatively cold tolerant, but it's not very frost tolerant. It'll burn in a frost, but it'll probably handle 27 degrees. I don't know, in the wide open, I don't know about that. Your freezes are different than ours just because of the humidity involved. If you don't have a lot of moisture in the air, you might be able to get away with very little protection there. But they will come back from like 25. They'll look terrible, but they will survive. And some of the main trunks might even die, but they will grow back. I don't know how cold, it depends. Some areas, I don't get it. Why go so fast and then just tailgate someone when you can go around them? But we're now back in Venice. Oh, here we are. Not this bridge here is the Venice and the Como border. Yeah, I mean it usually doesn't. Big G, but once in every 10, 12 years, you're gonna get that cold snap where you will get in the 20s. Because I have seen 28.5 here in Venice. That was 10 years ago. Actually, 11 years ago. But I've also had winters where it didn't get below 42 here, so I'm like 3 or 4 minutes away from the house. I'm gonna drop off the stuff. I'll probably just keep the stream running in the car, and then I'm gonna go. Yeah, once you get into South Carolina, like especially like south of the border, Florence is the first real town in South Carolina. There's a bunch of palmettos there, and they're hardy to that area, from there on south. I've seen them in Lumberton. I've seen palmettos in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which isn't that surprising considering where it is, but I've seen like nice, mature, old ones, like, they've... What's going on here? Oh, that's cool. The cop is, replacing his tire, or someone is. The cop's there. I guess he's there just to... It wasn't a person in uniform fixing the tire. Hey, Big G. I have not seen any palms in Midlothian, but I grew up in the West End, so I grew up like off of do you know where Windsor Farms is? Like near 195 and 64 meet? Or that's not where it is. Well, off of 195, right across the yeah, you do? Okay. I grew up in Windsor Farms. I don't want to sound like a privileged little boy, but my dad, that's where we lived. I also lived in Barrington Bridge, which was out by Innsbruck. So the near West End and the far West End. Oh, do I have this? Give it to me. Give it to me. Sorry. So yeah, in the West End off of Carey Street, there are some windmills growing in the Fan. I guess it really isn't the West End at that point. It's just so there are palms there. Yeah, there's a windmill that's been growing there since the late 40s. So that's pretty impressive. Right. Yeah, one of the coolest places I saw palms just randomly growing is on my trip to western North Carolina to Bryson City, where there are no palms. I went to, I drove through Athens, and about 20 minutes outside of Athens, north of it, there were these two beautiful buteas with a foot or two of wood. Looked perfect, so blue, just amazing. And man, the police are just out and about. Yeah, I didn't know either, actually. I found this out afterward. I never knew. I saw, out by Mechanicsville, if you're familiar with where, like northeast of town, I saw a bunch of yuccas growing when I would go out to my friend's, like, river house. because I had friends like that. If you know what I mean. Um, but I would see big yuccas, and I like kind of thought they were palms, but I mean, I knew they weren't. But I was. So you used to live in Chesterfield, okay? I mean, I'm familiar with Chesterfield. I had friends that lived in what's the name of that neighborhood? Starts with a B. It's a big like neighborhood that um my mom might remember. She's inside. Let me ask her. All right, so I'm gonna leave the car running, okay? And we're gonna go to the store. Actually, no, I'm gonna turn the car off. No, I'm gonna leave it running. It's cold. I'm gonna go take this stuff in, and I'll be back. I live in Chesterfield County right now. I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. All right. Hey guys, you still there? Hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm having phone issues and I have to use the phone. I'll try and come back online. I'm sorry about that. Um, so I will try and come back on the stream, but I just don't want to leave you guys hanging.